So my name is Tobias Jairo. I'm married to a very beautiful girl called Christy, who prayed for me this morning when I was coming here, and wish me well. Bit of my background is that I'm a theologian. I'm a master's degree holder in Bible and theology. That's my training. And 15 to 17 years ago, I was pastoring a church in Kenya Estate. And I did a research, and I found out that between 95 to 98% of prayer requests that come to you as a pastor is about financial needs. Pastor, stand with me, I'm going through this, I'm going through this. I found myself helpless. Rather than just praying for them, I realized that I was a bit helpless to help them. These are people who love the Lord, they pray and fast, they love the Lord, they attend the church programs, but in this issue of financial matters, it seemed to be a challenge. So my journey began by finding a way, because I found myself frustrated as a man of God. These are my congregants who are financially challenged, and I cannot help them rather than pray for them. So when I began to read the Bible, I found out that Abraham, who is the father of faith, because we are told we are all children of Abraham in faith. I looked at this man that God picked from a pagan world and said, come and walk with me. And the Bible states clearly that Abraham was very rich in silver, in gold, in cattle. In fact, Abraham had an army of about 380 soldiers. A holy man, but blessed man. So there was a conflict. What I was reading from the Bible was conflicting with what I was getting in reality. So I began a journey of trying to find out what could be the challenge, what could be the problem. Why is it that so many Christians who love the Lord are having financial challenges? Then in 2012, God in his own ways, a lady that used to invite me to preach at Reverend Judy Mbugwa's meetings bumped into a CEO of a bank, and they began a conversation and said, we're looking for a pastor who's gone to school who can help us define products for churches. Then this lady says, I know a young man. And the CEO said, give me the number. I was invited to the bank. And so I began my journey in the bank in 2012, after I'd earned my master's degree in Bible and theology. And I am really certain that the reason why God put me in the banking industry is for me to answer this question that I'm asking today. Why is it that many believers are finding themselves financially challenged? Then in 2015, God again, because I have done a lot of reading, a lot of research to really find out why is it that people are going through financial difficulties, especially people who love the Lord. So I bumped into this course in Israel, a very high level course, a master's course on entrepreneurship and innovation management. I spoke to my MD, who was very close to me. He just loved me. And I told him, I'm feeling that I need to go for this course. It was expensive, almost $1 million more. Out of 1,500 people, MD said, I'll support you. So he sponsored me for that course in Israel. Having gone there are 3 experiences that have never left me when I was in Israel. 3 things that really touched me so much. Number 1, they were living for so long because most of our lecturers were 80, 90, even 100. That thing shocked me. You get a 100-year-old man calculating the level of mathematics on the board, and the way they teach is very different from the way you've been taught. Because they teach you how do you apply what I'm teaching you in your real life. Not to cram and then produce, but how do you apply this conversation I'm having with you in your own life so that it becomes your own reality. That's number one. So they live wrong. Number two, they had billions of dollars in reserve as a nation. Billions of dollars. That also shocking. Number three, they had Israel planned for the next 100 years. Already planned. And the people are planning it at 80, 90, 100. They know they will not be there, but they don't want to leave things haywire. They don't want to leave chances. They begin to imagine, in the next 100 years, where will our education be? What do you imagine the next 100 years? In the next 100 years, where will the health status be? In fact, by that time, they had something like a small tablet capsule with a camera in it. You swallow it, and there is a watch here, and in 24 hours, when you take it out, they already read your system to find out where there could be a problem in your system. One of the villages in northern Israel, we were taken for a tour, and we found primary pupils building drones, because there was a military guy who decided to pour his life into these young people. So he had an academy and primary pupils building drones in 2015. So I asked one of the Jewish people, I said, why are you Israelis ruling the world literally? He told me, Tobias, you Christians have a dichotomy of your spirituality and your business. Two things. As Jews, our spirituality and our business is one thing. In fact, we believe that if we go into the higher court, the heavenly court, the first question you'll be asked, were you honest in your business dealings? What is Christianity in Israel? It's about 3 to 4%. They're Jews. They're Torah guys. Now, why are these things very important to me, Mr. Pastor? Number one, I was shocked because I am a Christian. I'm a Christian. I'm a believer. And if I come back to my country, comparing these three things that I talked about, where is the life span in our country? It's very short. It's number one. Number two, where are we economically as a nation? We are in trillions of shillings in debt as a nation. Where our Christianity is 85 or something percent. That was shocking to me. That was completely, it paralyzed my thinking. I said, there's something wrong somewhere. We can't say we are 80-something percent Christians, but our debt level is in trillions of shillings. So if a nation itself is suffering, who will help you? That's the question I can ask you. Who will help you? So my purpose in life, one of the things also I challenged myself, in fact I heard John Maxwell, you are given us a video of John Maxwell. He said, if you want to change something in your life, he used the word intention. He said you must be intentional. And one of the areas I really wanted to be intentional about was to get the answer to this question: what does true success mean from God's perspective? So I became very discreet in the way I read the Bible. I said, let me put my theology aside let me be a student of the Bible. So I started reading the Bible from Genesis, chapter by chapter, to Revelation 1, with that question in mind. What does true success mean? So I went through the Bible first time, came back. I went through the Bible second time, came back. I went through the Bible third time, came back. By the time I was doing the Bible third time, 5 things became apparent as the true measure of success. Number 1 is the discovery of your purpose. Your purpose, your individual purpose. Do you know why you are here in this life? The moment you discover that, you are on the path to true success. That's number 1. Number 2, wholeness. Wholeness. By wholeness, I mean in your spirit, in your mind, and in your body. Then you are whole. That's a measure of true success. But number 3 is wealth creation. The Bible defines a good man as a man that leaves inheritance to his children. In other words, the wealth that touches 3 generations. Number 4 is relationship. Relationship that begins from the core. Husband, wife, children, then siblings, parents, before it goes to the outer community. And then number 5, legacy. After all lights have gone, and you've all gone, this room is closed. You will go with me in your homes, in your rooms, but I will also go with you. That is legacy. How will you be remembered? So, having been in the bank for now 12 years, I want to tell you the hours I've spent in studying the Bible. There are so many. But I've decided, I have come to a conclusion that these 5 things I've mentioned to you are the true measure of success. For an individual, for a home, for a nation. If you can focus on these 5 things, I want to guarantee you shall truly be successful. So the component of wealth creation is what I was called to talk about today. Because we have a dichotomy of spirituality on one side and business on one side, which is totally a distorted view of what the Bible wants us to have. Do you know, number 1 of the things that we discovered from Israel is that 95% of the economy is entrepreneurship. In other words, although everybody is doing business, everybody is a businessman or a businesswoman. It's only in Kenya we have dichotomy that these are now spiritual people, these are now business people. There's nothing like that. A rabbi challenged me, he asked me, Tobias, do you know, there's a scripture in Jeremiah, I think 45 verse 10 that says, cursed is a man who does the work of the Lord in a slothful manner. And he asked me, Tobias, do you know what it means to do the work of the Lord? And me, I'm as a Kenyan quick spiritual guy. That is being a preacher, being a pastor, doing the work of the Lord. That's what it is. No. That's not the Hebrew interpretation of doing the work of the Lord. Doing the work of the Lord means a chef who is preparing food for people to come and buy is doing the work of the Lord. Just like a preacher who is preparing a sermon for the people on Sunday is doing the work of the Lord. There is no difference. A driver that is preparing people to go to work When he does it with the mindset that I'm doing the work of the Lord, I'm serving people, God's people, I'm carrying God's people to go do work and build the nation. That is doing the work of the Lord. I mean, my theology was turned upside down. So, in terms of wealth creation today, I just want to talk to you. Security. One of the things that you need to understand, friends, is that wealth is an important skill. You must study it. One of the reasons why many people have financial problems is because they lack the skills of having financial freedom. Somebody said that if prayer alone can make you be rich, Kenyans will be very rich. Very, very rich. Because they are in morning devotion, they are in lunch hour revival, lunch hour meeting, they are in evening revival. Friday they are in Kesha throughout the day. Sunday they are in church throughout. Kenyans will be the richest people in the world. But I've come to realize, friends, that if you make wrong decisions, you'll end up having financial problems. And why do you make wrong decisions? Because you don't know the world of finance, how it works. One of the things that are also bedeviled us as a nation, and I've heard it here we talked about, is the issue of not understanding that these values need to start from very young age. When you find a Jewish 100-year-old going to start academy to pour his 100 years experience in the lives of people, he's understanding that the generation needs to continue with these values, even after I've gone. At age 8, a Jewish father will bring his son, who is 8 years old, and bring 5 managers to him and say, son, I want to tell you how the money world works. So these are 10 notes of $10 each, adding to $100. And these are 5 jars. He says, son, take $10, which is 10%, and put in the first jar. That jar is called tithe. So you take care of God's money, God will take care of your money. Tell the son, take another $10, which is 10%, and put in the second jar, and that jar is called philanthropy. In other words, if you go to school and find your fellow pupil does not have a pen and you must be a solution provider, you come to this jar and support him. You tell son, take another $10, which is 10%, and put in the third jar, and that jar is called saving. You tell son, now take two $10 each, which is $20. Put in the fourth jar, and that is called multiplication or investment. So 10, 10, 10 plus 20 is 50. So now, son, take the rest of the 50 and put in the last jar. That jar is called spending. And from that time, first of all, the father will choose which books the son will read. And when you read a book, they meet over meal, and mealtime they're doing a discussion. And then the son will be able to now tell the father about the book. And the son is giving points about that book. The father pays the son money. Say, well done, that was good in that chapter. Well done. And he has understood how he's supposed to distribute his money. By the time this young man is 19, finishing university, he can buy his own house cash. That has started from a very young age. Torah is a must. They have to go and study Torah. It's a must. Their schools are organized to the extent that you have to study Torah. Because you must understand, this is the book that we were left with. This is our value. This is what keeps us as Jewish people. This is what makes us be the head and not the tail. This is our values that you must keep. Wherever you are, you must study it. And you're talking about the challenges you're finding in schools. Because we have not become intentional about the next generation. That's why it bothers me when you find pastors and bishops as campaigners to a politician. It makes me cry. It makes me cry. Do you know what it means to be a representative of God? Do you really know it? Maybe we don't know. Maybe we don't know. And that's why they can't speak. Because how will they speak? They have already been guarded. That can only happen in Kenya, where we say it is 85% Christianity. So I'm not impressed by any title. I don't. I think that, brethren, and I pray that this conversation will cause us to go back to our closet and answer this question. Why am I called a Christian? When we talk about purpose, one of the things that has really come to me very profoundly, I have discovered how we can see the Bible. Now I'm going through the Bible the 6th time. In fact, one of my goals is that I want to read the Bible 50 times before I die. 50 times. That's my personal goal. And I have discovered what the Bible is, how to present the Bible, how to present the gospel as a story, God's story. In fact, what I've discovered is that the Bible is about God and his human family, period. That's what the Bible is, in a nutshell. It's about God and his human family, which is you and me. And it can be understood in 4 events. Event number 1 is creation. It's only found in 2 chapters, Genesis 1 and 2. But in creation it's so profound because we are finding the person of God. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. That's verse 1 of Genesis. And we are hearing the word creator, which means the Father. The originator of all things. The very first, in fact, that's where you need to begin. You need to begin from the beginning. That's where we begin from. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. The Father, the originator, the creator. Verse 2 says, and the Spirit of the Lord hovers upon the waters. We are finding the Spirit, the ever-abiding presence of God. And verse 3 says, and God said the word. So you're already beginning from the 3 chapters, 3 verses of chapter 1. We already have the Trinity in place. But the most profound thing also there is that we're finding God creating man in his own image and likeness, but profoundly giving man one of the most important things, but also very dangerous things called the free will. And the Bible says God planted the garden and put man there. And then he told man, you're free. And you wonder, why did God give man a free will? He gave man a free will because he wanted his relationship with man not to be through manipulation or coercion or fear or threat, but a choice. A choice. And so, when man should, then another component thing that is important to understand from that Genesis is that everything that man would ever need was created before man was created. And it was created for man. Very important, friends. Everything that God ever created in this universe Number one was created before man was created. But it was created for what reason? For man, because God cares about his family. Remember, the Bible is about God and his family, which is you and me. Are we together? So you need to understand that the sun exists because man is here and man needs to survive. That's the reason why the sun is there. And so, one of the things that has been so profound for me is that when God now says, you are free to eat, he has given man a dangerous thing called free will. And told man the consequences that will happen if at all you do what? You choose against me. You know, the reason why the will is so dangerous because man can choose against the person that was given it. And man chose against God. And when man chose against God, 4 things were introduced. Number one is separation, which is spiritual death. That is the worst thing, the worst kind of death you can suffer, called spiritual death. Leave alone physical one. It's not the worst. The worst is the spiritual one. Because man came from God. God is his source. The highest form of satisfaction in man is when his spirit and God's spirit are in a conversation, a relationship. That's the highest form of satisfaction. So when there was a separation, there was death already. That's why you don't need to kill man when he's already separated from God. He's already dead. Are we understanding each other here? That's number one, separation. Number two, fear. Fear was introduced. Fear was never there before sin came to be. That's why when God comes to visit Adam at the cool of the day, because let me tell you, the greatest form of security is when God is your company. That's the greatest form of security. When God is your company. And that was in the intention of God. Because God created a man to be his own companion. So when now Adam is running away and when you say, Adam, where are you? And Adam is running away, fear has already been introduced. The third thing is guilt. Guilt. So separation. The 4 problems that are common to every human being are these things. Separation, fear, guilt, and what else?
Death.
Separation is death. Okay?
Shame.
And shame.
Shame.
And shame. And every human being, regardless of your status, are suffering these 4 things. So long as you are called a human being, you are in the category of beings called human. Regardless of a religion, regardless of all this you are seeing here in our world today is a result of all these 4 things. Let me leave that one there, because today was not a day of presenting the gospel. So what I've said, wealth is important. It's an important skill. You must study it. You must do what?
Study.
Don't just pray about it. You know, Christians, we have this tendency to say, let me just pray about it. Prayer is not the solution to everything in this life. There are things that God expects you to do. Okay? There are things that God expects you to do. Okay? So, it should be studied. Wealth is a values catalyst. You know a catalyst? Those who are teachers here. What's a catalyst?
Something that alters a
Sorry?
reaction.
Ask?
Something that alters the reaction of.
And it makes something happen faster, isn't it? Okay? Let me just use a lay language because I like the gospel. We must come to present the gospel in such a way that it is so simple and understood. I met a Muslim recently and I began talking to him about creation. I asked him, what does Quran say about creation? He said, everything the way the Bible says it, that's how it is. Then I began to tell him about, okay, he says that, God and family, we're part of it? Yes. So when I began to present to this person about the gospel, he was shocked. He said, are you a Christian? But you're not like other Christians. Why is your gospel different? He was ready to listen. Because I did not present the gospel in a confrontational way, where we already made a judgment, this is a Muslim going to hell, so let us help you before you go to hell. Remember, every human being has these 4 challenges I talked about. In your mind, whatever you're having a discussion, you must know that this person is separated. That's the first assumption that you must have. This person is separated from God, is already dead, so don't kill him anymore. Try to bring life. Okay? This person is suffering some shame in their lives. This person is afraid of something. Are we together? That's the assumption. So catalyst, it means when you study a skill, it propels you into creating wealth. If you study money skills, and there are so many money skills, skills like, for example, saving, the discipline of saving, is a skill. Okay? And then when you save, then you have another skill called investing, isn't it? It's a skill. Investment is a skill that you must study. Then when you invest, do some investment, then it takes you another skill. The catalyst that now can take you another skill where you can get what is called, it's called, it's coming out of my mind. Passive income, for example. Okay? It started with the discipline of saving. Then you go into a place where now you study the skill of investment. Because saving now helps you to save so that you can invest. And when you invest in such a way that you're able to get passive income. And when you get passive income, you are now able to get financial freedom. Where now, money is not the matter. Money is not what you think about. Do you know there are people in this world that money is no longer a problem to them? It's not what they think about. They think about holidays. Say, can I go to Hawaii? What's happening in Hawaii? I can go there for a week just to check. Then maybe a flight down to South Africa, just check what's going on. And even as he does that, his money keeps on growing because it does not need him to be there. Are we together? One of the things that John 3:16 is very profound. He said, for God so loved the world. That did what? He gave his only begotten Son. Why? So that whoever believes in him should not, but do what? Or abundant. Have you ever imagined what abundant life is all about, friends? I think we just talk about it, but you don't know it. It is real life. It is what God imagined for his children, which we don't even have a taste of at all. So money is a skill that must be studied. Then number 2, we said it's a values catalyst. In other words, what we are saying is that money will only catalyze what you are, so that you can see it faster in you. So if you're a stingy person, when you get money, it will catalyze that stinginess. Then we see how it is. But if you're a generous person, then you'll also see it when money comes in. You want to help more people. Are we together? So money itself does not have, it's not a problem. In fact, what is money? Money is a tool. It's just a tool. Can you say it together with me? Money is a tool. Money is a tool. That's what it is. That's what it is. Money is just a tool. So if I was to ask you today, Reverend, between money and family, what is more important?
To me.
Family. Between money and love, what is more important?
Love.
Love. You see, now that's where I go wrong. Can love buy you sushi? Can it? Can love pay your bills?
No, but it makes me
So you see, when you comparison, then you realize that money looks like it's the least thing in the ladder. But it's just a tool. And it needs to be given its place in our, so you can say both. The correct answer is? Both are important. So as I want to come to a conclusion, because time has gone, I just want to talk about 3 sources which make us believe that wealth is evil. Source number 1 is the filthy rich that are immoral. When we look at their lives and how what they use with money, it distorts our thinking about money. Number 2 is the media. Normally what we watch in the media, it seems like those who are poor are the people with good values. Those who are rich are the people with bad values. But remember, these are just acting. These are not reality. Okay? So it kind of distorts our thinking. But more so is religion, or I can even call it, in some points, the church. Because one of the things that has been quoted, especially the scriptures like Matthew that say, oh, the love of money is the root of all evil, no one can serve 2 masters. These are very good, important scriptures. But do you know what? If you don't interpret them in their own context, you lose the meaning. Because the Bible also talks about Ecclesiastes chapter 11 verse 2 that says, divide your portion into 7 or 8, for you do not know what misfortune may occur on the earth. And this is about saving money and be able to build funds for emergencies. So, as I finish, practical things that you must do. Number 1, you must get out of debt. Get out of debt, that's number 1. Number 2, you must aspire to be wealthy, because it is godly. Number 3, you must create value in order for you to earn money, because money is about value created. Number 4, you must have management skills. You must understand how you can manage your money. The next one is you must prepare for future expenses, and that's why it is important to save towards the future and think about retirement. Number 6, you must build passive income. Income that comes to you whether you work or you don't work. And then lastly, you must understand that you are blessed to become a blessing. Thank you very much. It was an honor to speak to you. May God bless you.